everyone. Welcome to the Theater of Football. Thanks for joining us. Today, we are summing up this weekend's FA Cup action. I'm joined by Patrick Heinrich. Patrick, how'd you enjoy the FA Cup this weekend?
Well, I definitely stand by what I said in the last video, that it was definitely the most exciting game of the weekend. And who would have thought that the first half would give way to the very exciting second half and overtime segment that we got to watch on Saturday.
Yeah, Patrick is referring, of course, to the United Norwich match. I don't think well, you thought, but I didn't believe you when you told me that would be the most exciting match of the weekend. The other three were pretty, I don't know, not didn't make for very good viewing. So I guess there was some drama at the end of the Sheffield United Arsenal match that didn't go my way as a Man United fan. But as far as most of that game goes, it wasn't very watchable. But yeah, that was Norwich United match was probably the best game of the weekend, mostly because United did not put forth the same good performance that they had on Wednesday against Sheffield United. Why do you think that was the case, Patrick?
Well, I mean, I think you have a couple factors. You obviously have, a new crew. So we did a lot of substitutions of the starting lineup for the Norwich game. Brought in some of our, FA Cup players. I think that that may have just made the chemistry a little off from when a Sheffield United game. I also think Bai had a bit of a learning curve, it seemed like, in the beginning of the first half. I thought he did much better in the second half, but I thought that everyone's just chemistry was a little bit off, and I think just personally for me, I thought Fernandez was, off the entire game, for the full 120 minutes. So I think that's what contributed to, what made that match particularly a little bit more difficult, I think.
Yeah, Ole made 8 changes from the side that played Sheffield United, with only Maguire, Shaw, and Fernandez keeping their place. He said in the pre-match press conference for Norwich that he was going to make a few substitutions. I mentioned in our last video I expected it to be more than a few. I don't know if I expected 8, but
Yeah.
I was thinking like 6 maybe. But the lack of maybe chemistry and playing together showed, especially in the first half. We struggled to create any clear-cut opportunities. Igalo's hold-up play in the first half was pretty good. He had a few moments where he picked up the ball to get us up the pitch out of pressure and was able to find that outlet pass. So again, he stepped up there, and he got his goal and got Tim Klose sent off towards the end there to kind of set up a pattern of play through extra time, and we were eventually able to nab that winner thanks to Harry Maguire.
Yep.
It was just especially after we went 1-0 up, I was disappointed. I sort of expected that first half performance based upon the players who were out there, the number of changes, that it might be difficult, so we might need to rely on some substitutions. But I thought we came out in the second half really well, full of intent, got that goal early through a bit of luck. But after that was really when my disappointment set in. I thought that we really took our foot off the pedal. Mm-hmm. We looked complacent. We thought we got the goal, the job was done, when Norwich still have some threatening players on the pitch, and Cantwell and Hernandez. So there was still a threat there to be dealt with, and we needed to maybe go on and get a second or third just to kill the game off. But we didn't do that. Norwich got a goal back, or got back on level terms through Cantwell. Nicely taken goal there. I mean, you could maybe blame Romero for maybe that's a shot he should save from 25 to 30 yards out, or maybe Maguire should have closed him down. But those types of goals, I just take my hat off to the player striking it. It was a nice hit. It was a nice hit and found the corner. And to your point about Bruno, I'm not worried about him at all. I think he'll rediscover his pre shutdown form. But he hasn't looked the sharpest since we returned. So he wasn't very sharp against Spurs. He was a little bit better against United. The overall team performance against Sheffield United helped. But again, today he was with the starting lineup. There's a lot of pressure on him to be the creative centerpiece for us, and it just didn't come off. And towards the end, he was just shooting whenever he had he had sight of goal within 35 yards, and
Right.
he had one nice shot that Tim Kroll saved, but other than that, they were mostly into the empty stands. But
Yeah. I would have liked to see at a little bit earlier, towards the very, very end, Rashford took over a lot of the corner kicks and, place kicks from Fernandez. I would have liked to have seen that happen a little bit sooner. I thought it was pretty clear that Fernandez was a little off his, needed to be recalibrated a little bit or, find his rhythm. And I would have liked to see Rashford come in and take more of those shots once he was substituted in. And I thought that may have helped out a little bit more. But, I think I'm not worried about Fernandez either. I think he'll get back into his rhythm, and once Ole sends him back to the factory to get a recalibration.
Yeah, the one thing I am worried about is just the number of minutes he's logging. I mean, we played 30. We played 30 more minutes in this game than we should have had to, but it looked like in those 30 minutes he looked pretty gassed, and he looked tired at the end of the Spurs match as well. He got 10, 12 minutes rest against Sheffield United at the end there.
Right.
But yeah, I just think Ole's managing Pogba's minutes. I think he needs to look at possibly managing Bruno a little bit better. We don't want him coming down with a muscle strain or anything like that. So, and just kind of get him back to playing his best going forward, because that's what we'll need. I have been pleased. I thought, again, he was sharp when he came on with Pogba since we returned from shutdown. When he's been on the pitch, he's looked lively. He's been getting involved quite a bit, and he seems like he does not need recalibrating. His range of passing's been pretty good. So
he's just so great at controlling that ball too. I mean, when he gets, there's several situations where he had the ball and just shut down, the Norwich defenders and coming at him. And, I think that it's interesting because I see Bruno Fernandes as, kind of putting a bit forth, probably more effort than Pogba. But Pogba, was putting forth enough effort to kind of muscle his way into a lot of those scenarios, control the ball, feed it upfield very well. And I thought that, he's doing very well. So it's interesting for me because I see Fernandez doing more effort and maybe Ole needs to be concerned about, the minutes that he's playing. And I see Pogba playing the same amount of minutes, but I'm less concerned about him because of what he's doing. And, he seems to put forth, enough effort to get the job done.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of the criticism that's been leveled against Paul, mainly by Graham Souness, although I think there's other reasons why Souness doesn't like Pogba, but I'm not going to get into that. He said recently that his criticisms are born out of what's perceived as a lack of intensity and effort on his part. But right now, I don't really want Pogba sprinting, 80, 100 yards over the pitch, covering all this ground. I want him to kind of, slowly get his feet back under him. He's had lots of injury issues, especially since Ole took charge in December 2018. He's missed most of Ole's matches. So I want him to be fit and available, and he seems like he's managing himself well. Mm-hmm. So that's something I'm not going to be concerned about. And he is so good at possessing the ball, not getting it taken off him. I think there was one time in the match on Saturday that he shrugged off 2 Norwich players and then played a nice forward pass. So that's something that he can bring to the table that other players can't, and that brings an extra dimension to our game.
Yeah, definitely.
That's always nice to see. Switching gears, there was the FA Cup semifinal draw made during halftime of the City Newcastle game, which was an odd time to me. I couldn't think after it was done, but that doesn't matter. United got drawn with Chelsea, while City were able to hold on against Newcastle, and they'll take on Arsenal. So, Patrick, can we make it 4 wins out of 4 on the season against Chelsea?
Absolutely. I'm fully confident that we can. I do think, though, that we should take a look at our performance against Norwich, and I think that were we to play the same against Norwich, I would feel a lot less comfortable. But I think with having so many back-to-back games, I think having so many substitutions and swapping the whole team out, practically for the FA Cup game after, a Premier League game. I think, Ole should take a look at that a little bit more and just make sure that, those changes aren't, impacting the play and the chemistry too much with so many back-to-back games.
Yeah, I think you'll see Romero in goal again for that, as he's the undisputed number one when it comes to cup matches.
That's right.
But as far as the rest of the squad, I would be inclined to think there'll be much fewer changes to the previous match that'll happen in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's playing I don't want to say he personally overlooked Norwich, although the press conference seemed like the journalists were overlooking Norwich.
Yeah.
But I think given Chelsea's pedigree and ability to play, that he won't be rotating the squad as much for that match, and he'll put out a good side that from the start can go out there and win the match.
Yeah.
It'll be should be a good one to watch. It'll probably be the best of those two semifinal matchups, as I would think City would put in a performance like they did at the Etihad two Wednesdays ago when we came back from the shutdown.
Yeah.
They pretty much kept Arsenal on shutdown. So that would be my 2 cents on that. So should be fun to watch. I'm looking forward to those games. I think they take place. One will be on July 18th, and the other one will be on July the 19th that weekend. So that'll be fun to look forward to. So yeah, the fun weekend of FA Cup action. All the favorites won. So we have some pretty nice matchups to look forward to. Big names in the semifinals. The curtain is now closing on the theater of football. We do appreciate your viewership. Please like the video, subscribe, and by all means add your comments below of what you thought of the weekend's action. For Patrick, I'm Mike, and thank you for watching the theater of football.
Cheers.